Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig, and I'm here with the ever dynamic, always awesome, incredible, charismatic sex god himself, the one and only, the man who puts the Chihuahua in Chihuahua. It is Matt Cluley. How you doing, Matt?
That's a hell of an intro.
Yeah, well, you know, so I'll big you up. It's that time of the week again where Matt tries to fool me with a trick, which is always exciting. I think the Matt test is one of my...
It always fails.
Well, yeah,
Even when I think I've got something, there's no way he's going to get it.
No, but you introduced me to Coda last week, which I was very impressed with.
Yes.
So I was over the moon with that one.
This, completely different.
Really?
It couldn't be more different.
Well, Matt, all I can say is the Matt is yours.
I don't need it, but okay. So...
No, you have to understand that. This is the ceremonial giving of the mat.
Oh, I see.
This is me saying... This is you walking out on stage, Matt.
Passing the flame.
Exactly. So...
Okay, I appreciate it. And it is nice. I love these things.
They're beautiful.
They're so good. So, you know that I've been getting more into mentalism and stuff.
Yeah, me too. I'm a mentalist now.
Apparently so, yeah.
Just ask Luca Volpe. I rock his nicks.
So,
Like,
I know what he means, but it just sounded...
I rock his nicks like his nicks has never been rocked before. Honestly, after I finished with his nicks, he was quivering.
Luca is a lucky man.
He really is. He may be Italian, but once you've had Craig, he's never going to want to let anyone else play with his nicks ever again.
Wow.
Yeah. Go on.
I apologise, Luca, for that section of video. I would say we'd edit it out, but I know for a fact that Mike won't. So, the more I've been getting into like mentalism and stuff, I've been researching and reading stuff and just trying to gain as much knowledge as possible. And I found something really exciting, actually, the other day.
Really? Because mentalism is normally dull and
I know, it's dull as fuck.
fuck.
But I actually found something that was quite interesting.
Did it involve a wooden billet knife?
It did not involve a wooden billet knife, or a banana.
Or a banana. Have you
we're
actually
good.
yet, at any point in your mentalism career, used your wooden billet knife?
No, I have not. It is still in the box on the shelf at home, where it will remain pretty much forever, I would imagine.
Fair enough.
It's not really a necessary tool these days, is it? But I mean, it's good to have, just in case. You never know. It might come back. We might have a fad.
We might get attacked by zombies.
We might get attacked by zombies.
Or vampires.
Really small ones.
And you've got Mr. Pointy. You've got your own Mr. Pointy.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
good. Yeah.
I might get dragged into one of Darren Brown's things where he turns the whole world into zombies again.
Could be.
And then I'll have a wooden billet knife with me.
Murphy's have actually just released the wooden billet knife as its own standalone product. With its own little trailer. It was so popular as part of the 13 Steps to Mentalism that shit needed to actually be... Everyone needs a wooden billet knife in their life.
And now I've got one.
You've got one.
So, proper mentalism.
Lucky boy.
Proper mentalist.
Lucky boy.
But I was researching some stuff the other day. I read up a lot about it, and I was doing some ESP card stuff, and I ended up getting sucked into a Wikipedia wormhole again, and ended up back, as I very often do, on reading about J.B. Ryan. He was the guy that invented parapsychology from Duke University in the mid-1900s and blah, 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 blah. So I was reading a little bit about him. And then I stumbled across something that was really interesting that I'd not seen before. And there was another guy at Duke University at the same time as JB was there. So JB was doing all his parapsychology stuff and writing all of his books and doing all that, you know, weird shit. There was another guy called Peter Martin who was there at the same time, another doctor. But he wasn't a parapsychologist. Peter Martin was a neurologist. So he did a lot of like brain stuff, basically.
That's a great description of a neurologist.
Brain stuff. Think of Amy Farrah Fowler from Big Bang. But a guy.
Okay, yeah, got it.
That's kind of the shit that he did.
Okay.
So he was doing some research on, I don't know if you've probably heard this before, but apparently humans only use 10% of their brain capacity.
Yeah, I heard that. Jack only uses 1%.
He does only use 1% on a good day. So there's 90% up for grabs.
Ooh.
And there's some theories and stuff around various different things that, you know, extraterrestrials, if they have travelled to Earth, it's probably because they've been able to...
If extraterrestrials have travelled to Earth, they would have beamed down, looked round, spent about 5 minutes and gone, fuck
Fuck
this,
that, I'm off.
and then
Yeah.
just left.
Had a kebab and then gone.
Yeah.
So, but you know, if there are more powerful beings out there that have got advanced technology far beyond ours, it's probably because they've been able to tap into that little bit of extra in their brain. And apparently there's ways and means of being able to do it. And if you can do it, then you can do some quite extraordinary things.
Right.
Not tapping into the entire 90%, but even if you could just get a little bit of it, you could do things that would be... It's not even an extraterrestrial
Welcome
thing.
to the Matt Zone.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not me. It's Peter Martin. But if you could do it...
So, to be clear,
Yeah.
just to be clear, this is a lead up to say that you use more than 10% of your brain power.
Well, there was... I dug into it a little bit more,
Yeah.
right?
So
And there are-
I'm just envisioning you. You dug into it. You're in this Wikipedia wormhole.
It was bizarre as well because I was googling on my VR headset.
Okay.
So it was like
even weirder. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh my god! You find out about this 10% thing. You find out about this guy Martin. You find out about all of this, and then you go, oh my god! If that could actually happen, and then you connect with your inner chi, like
No.
and you can just feel synapses start firing. It's like that film Limitless. Did you ever see? Did you take a
Yes!
pill? Did you take
No,
a pill?
there was no
Have
pill.
you taken a pill?
There's no pill.
Because what you're describing here is the plot of Limitless.
Well, maybe that's where they got it from.
We got it from Peter Martin.
Maybe they were reading about JB Ryan in Wikipedia and stumbled across Dr. Peter Martin, and this is where it all came from.
Have you been taking happy pills?
I have not. No, but I was.
How much of
reading-
that? So, what percentage of your brain are you now
I don't
using?
know. There's certain techniques and stuff that you can use that allegedly allow you to tap into it. And I was having a bit of a play around. I got stuck in like a internet wormhole, and ended up finding these things that people have said, and you know, we don't know if it's true or not, but apparently there's some crazy ass stuff that you can do potentially if you can tap into the extra parts of your brain.
So now that's what's going to happen. Matt.
Well, maybe. I mean,
Matt,
tell you what. We'll
Matt
give it
is
a go.
going to tap into that percentage of the brain power.
We'll give it a
that he's
go.
not
We'll see
been
what
using.
happens, right?
Okay, yeah.
We'll give it a go.
How are we going to do it?
I don't know. I need to. You got anything on you? Oh no, hold on. Office key.
Okay.
So, if we use the office key. Oh, it's not actually the office key, is it? That's the key that Kay gave me to go and get cut for the office.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, you try. Just
A
try
box
and
of coins.
I don't know. Just try and focus your energy on something, and see if you can do something a bit weird with it. Just give it a go. See what happens.
I've done it.
Have you?
Yeah, look, the coins have gone into this hand. I mean, it's amazing. I mean,
That is incredible.
You gave me a fucking
I mean, if you
Nikita
could
box.
do that, then
yeah, that was
I mean,
brilliant.
right.
I just honestly, I thought of the coins in the box, and all of a sudden they're in the other hand. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. It's a
is.
fucking miracle. It's got nothing to do with the fact that it's a coin box. Available from your local magic dealer.
it's got nothing. Well, I mean, that is one explanation for it.
It is an
The other explanation for it is that you just did something fucking impossible.
It could be.
Look,
I didn't. What are we doing?
just give me a second.
Are you having a hard time getting it up? Happens at your age. You can take pills for that as well, you know. Say the magic words, Viagra.
It's difficult to concentrate.
I know. Performance anxiety, I get it. Think about Penny from The Big Bang Theory. There you go! I know how to float your boat. Think about Amy Farrah Fowler. Oh, wow. We know what you're into. Think about Raj. Right, okay. Enough said. Matt, it's going up.
I mean, that. I don't think that's too bad. I think that's. I don't. Considering I've just learnt how to do this,
Dude,
I don't think that was too bad.
you cheated.
I did.
Yeah, that was great.
Got a bit of an headache now, to be fair.
Well, you're coming down off the high.
Oh,
You're doing good. Breathe it in, breathe it out.
I think I'll be okay.
You okay? Great. Well done.
Thanks.
That was good. That was your own presentation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I saw the trailer. And
Nothing like that.
We're talking. I actually saw the trailer for this. This is Seth Race's new trick, right?
It is Seth Race's new trick.
Key motion.
Key motion. Although you barely see Seth, he does like a live performance, and then everything else is done by Dan Harlan.
Well, put it this way: if I had access to Dan Harlan, and Dan Harlan could do my tutorial instead of me, I'd be like, you know what, Penguin, this is my new trick.
Yeah.
Dan's sitting in that room over there. I'm going to go down and have a pint. Call me when he's sorted it.
Yeah,
because like you don't, if you've got Dan offering to do a project, you don't go, fuck off, I want to be in half of it. You just go, yes, Mr. Harlan, sir.
Yeah.
And you make sure there's no cash registers anywhere nearby. Sorry, I'm choking. I love you, Dan. I'm sorry. I feel bad about it. No, I don't feel bad. Carry on.
I wasn't saying anything.
Didn't have to.
I'm not getting involved in that at all. I like Dan.
I love Dan.
I don't know if Dan even knows who I am, but I don't want to get on the wrong side of it.
Did you know that Dan Harlan was the only did you know, you probably don't know this, but have you ever heard of the Tarbell series?
Yes.
Okay. So the Tarbell series is like a collection of like 8 or 9 books, massive books, each on a different subject in magic, right? And over the course of like, I think about 3 or 4 years, Dan Harlan, and each book is in like lessons, and they cover everything, like everything in magic, from stage illusions to impromptu magic and all points in between. Dan Harlan spent like years taking every single lesson in Tarbell, turning it into a video, creating all of the props and teaching everything that was in the book and performing everything that was in the book in a show. I don't think there's anyone else that could do that other than Dan Harlan. And by the way, if you don't have the Tarbell series, you can get them from Penguin. You can even subscribe to the Send It You Weekly. It's brilliant. But anyway, so this, I saw the trailer, and it was very different. The way that Dan was presenting it, he was kind of doing the same thing that he did with his little beads trick when you were playing with Dan's anal beads. When it was Ritual, I think it was.
Ritual.
He was going through the same sort of thing like that. Like, hey, I want you to see if you can, think positive thoughts. Think happy thoughts, and he was making them do what you just did while you went down the route of Limitless Aliens and Big Bang Theory.
I was just practicing it, and then that kind of routine came
No,
into
it was
my
good. It was a
head,
good
so I just
presentation.
like,
And I
Peter
love...
Martin's not a real person, by the way. I just made all that shit up.
You just described Uri Geller, I think.
Yeah.
But
Peter, I just made all that shit up. But obviously JB Wine's real, but Peter Martin is not.
So...
Not that I'm aware of.
You're new into magic.
Yeah.
Obviously. This reminds me... I haven't watched the tutorial for this.
38 minutes.
I love the look of the key. The key looks very realistic. I like the fact that it's uncut. I'm assuming that you could cut that to your own house key.
That's why they do it. So you can cut it to whatever, and you can have it matched up with any key that you've got. So,
or you can just have them uncut like I do.
Or you can have them uncut.
Yeah. I don't think it's examinable, but it looks like it's examinable, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like it's examinable.
I mean, you could quite happily, like, once you've done it, and you can hold it, you can do this, hold it around, show that there's no strings, nothing anywhere.
You know what would have been nice? Well, I mean, maybe they have, I don't know. Did they supply you with a normal key?
No.
It would have been nice to get a normal key, I think.
You can, he goes through exactly how to do it with like switching in and switching out of keys and stuff. He goes through like there's a bunch of different routines that they do on the tutorial, and he even teaches you how to switch in and switch out, a couple of different ways of doing it, and a couple of different ways of making it examinable at the start. But obviously, I looked at it last night and I didn't have another key that looked exactly like that. So. Okay. But now, there's a whole, but it goes into so much detail. Also,
on the trailer, I saw he made the key almost like twist round.
It does. It turns over as well, so you can get it to stand up and then turn around and fall over. Mm-hmm. But that's even hard. It's not easy to do.
Okay, so I'll be honest with you here. This is based off an old effect with a voodoo doll. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, they mentioned that in the tutorial.
I think it was called the Akito doll from memory.
They say in the tutorial that it's a mixture between that
and Haunted Key.
Haunted Key.
Yeah, I can see that. So the Haunted Key I can see, but also the Akito doll I can see.
Yeah.
That got bought back up to date a couple of years ago by Mark Infinity from Saturn Magic.
Gotcha.
They brought out this voodoo thing where it was the voodoo doll stands up,
Well, if
and
the
then
voodoo
the
doll-
face changes round and all of that stuff.
If the voodoo doll on the key had a baby,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
it would be that.
Okay. So, I have always... Right, I've never used this key, but I've always struggled with the voodoo doll. I had the original Akito voodoo doll, and I couldn't do it at all. I ended up being in a lot of pain and unable to do it because the method behind it, we can talk about that in a second, does require a little bit of pain. At least if it's the same method as...
Tell me about it.
Okay. And when I got the Saturn Magic one at around about Halloween, so I got the Saturn Magic one that came out, which was really good because it came with a little coffin, and you vanished the doll and it went back in the coffin, and then the face changed on the doll to the dead celebrity they were thinking of. But I couldn't do that either, and I gave it to Ryland, which is probably a little bit irresponsible when you know the method. I gave it to Ryland, and he just ended up like throwing it across the room, going, "Ow, ow, ow! Never again! Please don't give me this trick. I hate it."
Right.
So we ended up not reviewing it for a variety of different reasons. But one is like we couldn't do it, so we couldn't perform it. And,
Well, I could do
and I
it.
know a lot of people can perform it, and it was just my inability to be able to do it. But I tried and tried and tried. I couldn't do it, and it'd probably be the same with the key. This is bringing me to... Did you find it hard to do?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a couple of different... I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, so I don't want to give the method away.
I don't think we can give the method away, but we can kind of talk about how if you're going to learn this trick, it is going to require...
Well, yeah, in order to be able to review it properly, I feel like there's a couple of warnings that we need to give to people, but I can't give those warnings to people because I can't give away the method.
You can try and skirt between the icebergs.
I am luckier than most would be because I ride a motorbike and I have calluses on my hands across here from riding motorbikes all the time. You can feel it there. You can see that there. You can see the calluses on my hands from riding motorbikes constantly. So for me, it's not as painful as it would be for most.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Because the method does require you to do something which, if you practice it for a long period of time, could end up being quite painful. Is that a scab?
Am I allowed to show my hand?
I guess so. Yeah.
Is that okay to show?
Well, yeah, it's your hand. Yeah.
This was after one night.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who knows the method will know what you've had to go through. Anybody who does... This is a very popular trick. I'll tell you who does this trick an awful lot. Tom Mullinger.
Oh, yeah, I can see
Well,
it.
he
being a Tom
wouldn't do
kind
it with
of
a
thing.
key, but I've seen him do it a lot with a voodoo doll.
I can see it being Tom's kind of thing.
And I mean, when I first met Tom, he used to do this trick where he actually pushed a needle through his hand, and it was a trick that was marketed, and there was no trick to it. The tutorial is the most fucking insane tutorial in the world. It shows you where you need to put a needle so that it won't cause blood loss. No blood will come out. And literally, you take I've got a video of him doing it somewhere. You take the needle and you just literally put it through your hand and you pull it out the other side. And I said to him, you need to stop doing that because one day you're going to put it in the wrong place and you're going to just ruin your career. And I don't think he does it anymore. But he's got no problem stabbing himself over and over again for his art form. So I know he does something like this. I know it's a very popular effect with a voodoo doll.
Yeah.
I actually think a key is better.
I think it's
You've got the
effect.
elements of... Could you do the... Does he talk about doing the... I don't know if you could do the normal haunted key type methodology with that, or if it...
You can actually do it where you can put the key down on like a napkin. You put the key down on a napkin, you put a cocktail glass over the top of it, like a martini glass, and then you just hold the corners, like you just put your hands down on the table, and then you can make it move inside a cocktail glass.
I could see that. Yeah. And that's the advantage
Which is
with the key.
very cool.
Because with a voodoo doll, it only really can go up. But with
Yeah.
a key, it can go side to side.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I could... are we doing that sort of thing? That's
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right, okay, that's clever. That's clever.
It's really
was that
cool.
Dan's idea or was that Seth's idea?
I don't know whose idea it was, but Dan presented it.
Okay, probably Dan. But Seth's a genius, so I don't know. But Dan's like a final boss. He is. If you were playing a computer game, you get through to the final boss, it'd be Dan Harlan standing there, doing some crazy magic trick, holding a cash register. Had to get that in.
The views and opinions expressed by Craig Petty are not the views and opinions of anybody else here in the Slightly Unusual office.
Every day. It's not slightly unusual.
Magic TV.
Here with Magic TV. At the
Whatever. Too many fucking companies. I never know which one to say.
Okay. Okay, here's a question. You've obviously learnt it. You say you're more, you're in a better situation than most because you ride motorbikes.
Yeah.
And also, I think another thing that is you've had a lot of tattoos. So you're used to having tiny little pricks in you.
I've got...
No, that's what... No, you are. I am. Anybody who's got tattoos, they're used to having tiny little pricks in them constantly. Yeah, I have sat there in the past for like... How long have you sat there and had little pricks go in and out of you constantly for like 6, 7, 8 hours? How long? How long have you had... What's the maximum you've sat there?
The longest sitting I had was 5 hours, I think.
There you go. The longest that Matt sat there and had little pricks go in and out of him constantly is 5 hours. So the point is, you're used to this sort of thing, right? That tattoo, as well as the calluses, the tattoos also have prepared you for this moment as well.
I've got a relatively high pain threshold.
So would you, and obviously you sit with like a really powerful thing in between your legs most of the time. So, look at you. Oh, it's twisting. Oh, you twisted. Hey! So, would you do it? That's the question. And be honest. I know you love Dan Harlan, and I know you love Penguin Magic.
Harlan. I do love Penguin.
But we're honest here.
I like Seth as
I'm
well.
going to tell you right now, I haven't watched the tutorial, so take this for what it's worth. I do, however, massively respect Dan and Seth. I'm going to give this 79%, purely because I don't think I'll be able to do it. I've tried over and over again with stuff like this, and I can't do it. And I just know I'm not going to be able to do it. But I do think this is the best example of this type of trick. I think that if you do the voodoo doll or you do anything else that involves this methodology, I think a key is so organic, so everyday carry. It's just there. I love the fact that they've gone down the keymaster route of having it blank so you can cut it to your own thing.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that although I understand that it's not examinable, I mean, you could literally say, hold your hand out for me. You know, this is a key. You can see it's perfectly okay. Is that fact? Because you can look at that and I can't see anything.
No.
And you can't feel anything. So you can just say, hold your hand out. We're going to do something with this key. Watch, nothing in my hands. You don't need to have it switched because it feels like it's perfectly okay. Yeah. So I think this is the best example of this type of trick. But 79 is the best score I can give if I'm not going to do it. And I know I'm not going to do it. But what about you?
I haven't made my mind up. I don't know. It's really tricky. To get it to do what you want it to do is not easy. And because I've been practicing it that much, I've actually broken it. So,
well, I mean, it's still working because you just did it to me twice.
Yeah, but it's coming apart a little bit. So I need to fix it. I genuinely don't. I'm torn. I'm genuinely torn. I don't know if I'd do it or not.
Search your feelings, Matt. You know it to be true.
I don't know whether the presentation that I've just done works. I don't know whether that is something that would go into the kind of stuff that I do.
I think it does. It's overly waffly and just goes on forever. I think it's perfect.
And I don't know whether that would be too, I don't know. I'm going to go 79, because I don't think I would.
Well. 79%.
I'd have to wait for that to heal first.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it just looks...
Yeah, I understand. So follow-up question, why do you hate Dan Harlan and Seth Race?
Why did you give it 79%? Why did you hate Dan Harlan and Seth Race? Why do you hate Penguin? Do you know how nice Penguin are to you? Do you know how many tricks you get released through Penguin?
Don't turn
Penguin invite you over to their place the whole time and they treat you like a king when you're over there. Penguin spend thousands on you. And why do you hate Penguin Magic?
I don't hate Penguin.
Why do you hate Penguin Magic?
I love Penguin. I love Penguin.
Why does Craig hate Penguin Magic so much, mate? What have Penguin Magic ever done to Craig? Why would you hate them so much?
I don't like the way this is going, Mike. No, we have to be honest. I know I work for Penguin. I just know I'm not going to do this.
I don't know. Like I'm super torn. I do love when it's standing up. When you actually get it to stand up, it looks fantastic. I would need a lot more practice. Trying to do it then, it wobbled a couple of times before you get it to stand up.
And you took a while to get it into
because
position.
It's broken.
Okay.
So if it wasn't broken, like when I was first doing it, it's boom, done, and you're there straight away.
Right.
Because it's now moving.
I mean, is that an issue? Does it break easily?
Oh, well, I've been doing it for a day.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't know whether it's something that maybe it's because I've got calluses on my hands that I had to push harder than most people would to get it to go through the skin of my hand. I don't know, but yeah, the reason it took a while to do is because it's broken. So I would need to fix it before I actually took it out into the wheel. But when I first started doing it, it was doing it straight away. But it is tricky. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of things out there that are tricky, and you have to practice to get them good. But there's a lot of things that would happen. If somebody knocked you while you were doing it, it would just fall. You'd be tricky if it was windy outside, you'd struggle because you need to keep. There's certain things you can do as you're practicing. You can move your thumb quite a lot. I don't know. Am I giving too much away?
No, not at all.
You can move your thumb a lot. If you move your thumb, it pulls everything, so you can kind of balance it with your thumb, but it does take a lot of balance and stuff. If you were outside, if it was really windy, you'd probably struggle. If you were in a really busy environment and there's a possibility someone's going to walk past and nudge you, then it could fall. You just have to be able to get it where if it did start to fall, then you can flip it so it does. But then they do say as well that a lot of the time when you try to get it to spin, it doesn't. It just wraps itself up and then you're stuck to it.
Got it.
So there's a lot of factors that in the real world you would have to be really careful. If you wanted it to look perfect, it would take a lot of time, a lot of practice. You'd have
and the more practice you give it, the harder it's going to be on your
the more practice you give it,
hands.
I mean, Dan does say that after you've done it a few times, you just pick one spot, and then if you just go back to that same spot every time, eventually you don't even feel it.
That's what she said.
I'm not convinced at how true that is, because if you went to the same spot every single time, it just gets more and more and more painful. But he does say don't draw blood. Is that saying too much?
No, but that's a great piece of advice.
Yeah.
You know when you've got a tutorial and you go, right, okay, so first of all, when you're practicing this, if you're drawing blood, that's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing.
We have to say that. We have to say the fact that has to be said.
Yeah.
You know, when you're practicing this, don't draw blood.
Not a
good idea, really, if you draw blood. You should do it because then you can say that you've been you go out there and you do side stabbings and side stabbings.
Yeah. I have drawn blood a couple of times with it because I wanted, but yeah. I don't know. Dan doesn't show his hand like that, so I don't know how. But I don't know whether it's just me. And whether
like I say, it's a very common trick, and I love the fact that they've updated it into a key.
Yeah.
There's people that do that all the time, like Tom Mullinger. He will see this, and I think he'd probably just grab it straight away.
Yeah, I can see that Tom would really love this. It's right up Tom's street.
Yeah. Well, 79% from both of us. But if you do anything like this before and you know the method, the Akito doll or the Saturn Magic version, or any of the other versions that have come out over the years, and you want to update it with a key so it looks more everyday carry, this is a great option. And you've obviously got more of a range of motion. I mean, you'd like the napkin thing. Would you do that? Because that doesn't
the napkin thing is pretty cool. The napkin thing is pretty cool.
Would you have that? Because let's be honest, you could just put that on your keychain, and if you're out in a restaurant and somebody says, "Do me a trick," you go, "Okay, can you lend me a napkin? Can you lend me that glass? I'm going to grab a key. Watch."
Yeah.
You can do that, and you don't need to stab yourself.
You don't. You don't. No. Yeah, it is a really good effect. Would you do that?
I'd consider it. I'd have to see what it looks like with the napkin. But if it looks as good as I think it is in my head,
it looks really good.
Then yeah, I think I would, because for me, that just hangs on the keychain. It's not like I have to.
Because you can get it to do it at whatever speed you want as well.
Yeah, it's not like I have to like remember to grab it. I just put it on my keychain.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of.
I mean, it may rip the inside of your pocket apart.
Yeah. Yes, but there's these new things that you can get now where you put a key in and it protects it. I'll show you one. It doesn't matter. But the point is, I love the idea of being in a restaurant for restaurant workers, and you don't want to do the stabby part. But you know, you with a napkin and a glass, restaurant workers, I think that'd be great. I love the idea of just having it on my pocket and doing it, you know, impromptu if I'm out for a meal with people.
The main effect I really like. I really like the effect itself. I'm just not convinced that out in the real world you would. I mean, I could very well be wrong. It's mentalism, God.
I really am. I do mentalism now. We know this. Anyway. You got anything else to add? Shall I wrap it up? I think we've droned on enough. If we keep going any longer, it's going to feel like one of your shows. Thank you so much for joining us here on Magic TV. Don't forget.
I think that was necessary.
Yeah, it was. You want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. And everybody who says in the comments, nobody's got this far, nobody's watching this shit at this point anyway. No, seriously, they've all switched off. I bet you that if I looked at the metrics and Matt test at this point, they've fucked off and they've made themselves a cup of coffee. Yeah, but if anybody has stuck around long enough, you know, please let me know. I don't want to have a comment. Actually, no comments about, we want more Matt. Fuck off. No more Matt. Okay, we're done with more Matt. Okay, all the Matt lovers out there, fuck off. I'm just saying, because
what?
We have a lot of people saying,
what's the
problem? I love Matt. Oh, Matt's wonderful.
That's because I'm a fucking delight.
He's a delight. Like I said, we're talking to ourselves now. Nobody's fucking. Right, we'll be back again next. What day? What day do these go out? Tuesday. We'll be back next Tuesday with another Matt test or a Craig Chase. No, I know it's a Thursday.
It's Thursday.
It's Thursday, but they go out on a. It's the magic of TV. You wouldn't know. You're not an actor. We'll be back again.
I am an actor.
I know. You're an actor. You need to say it like that.
A thespian.
What? That's cat.
A thespian.
Oh, thespian. Sorry, please.
Not a lesbian.
Slightly unusual member there.
Oh, fucking.
Oh, God. Anyway.
I'm kind of a lesbian.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to be a lesbian?
I am a lesbian, really. Technically.
Let's not get into this now. We're not going to annoy the whole of the LBGTBQ.
Right, getting the name wrong is going to be way more annoying.
They keep fucking adding letters.
LGBTQ+.
No, there's more letters now.
How can there be more letters?
They keep adding letters. They're letting letters all the time.
LGBTQ.
WXYZ. Like, there's loads of letters. Kat was telling me the other day.
Is there more letters?
There's more letters. Is there more letters?
Am I out of touch?
I don't know.
But I'm pretty sure they don't like having you say you're a lesbian when you're not.
Well, I mean, I don't like cock.
Nothing else we can say. We're done. We come back next week if we're not cancelled.
Same sexual preferences as a lesbian, I think.
Stop talking. Stop talking. We'll be back next week. Everybody go away, and I apologise.